Many child actors become musicians, and a handful of them are extremely successful. Artists like Ariana Grande, Drake, Miley Cyrus, and many more all began their careers as actors. But what you may not realize is that the child actor to musician pipeline is strong, and you could probably Google the main character from your favorite Disney show just to see that at one point they had a music career. So today we are going to be looking into some of these child actors who became musicians, with some of them seeing much more success than others. Real quick, I just wanted to give a shout out to my Discord. I don't really promote it ever. I think I've only promoted it in streams. So yeah, if you guys want to join in their chat about music, video ideas, whatever else you guys want to talk about, feel free to join. I'll leave a link in the description below. So yeah, make sure to check that out. Anyways, on with the video. Recently, I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw a video of my boy Leo from Lab Rats playing some pretty good music. And it turns out that he's actually a member of a group full of child actors called Grouptherapy, which single-handedly inspired me to make this video. Grouptherapy is a music collective comprised of Jadagrace, Stewart, and Tyrel Williams. They released their debut project in 2020, but to fully understand their story, we must first know them. To briefly sum it up, Jadagrace began acting in 2008 when she was 9, but got her first major role in 2009 with Terminator Salvation. Then in 2012, she got her own TV show called The Jadagrace Show, which ran from 2012 to 2013. She had been making music too, recording her first song in 2008. Eventually, she signed to Epic Records and released her first single, Run Dat Back, in 2012. In 2015, she signed to Capitol Motown and continued releasing more music, but eventually left the label to form a collective with her friends Tyrel and Coy. Coy began acting in 2010, and in 2011 was featured in Are We There Yet? He continued acting over the years, appearing in shows like Bella and the Bulldogs, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and other things like Logic's 1-800 music video. Coy had been making music already under the name Coy, K-O-I, and eventually changed his alias to Swim before joining Grouptherapy. And finally, we have Tyrel Williams, who began acting around 2005 and was in tons of different commercials and TV shows. However, his most notable role is probably when he landed the main role of Leo in Lab Rats. Lab Rats ran from 2012 to 2016, so it was around for a decent amount of time. He gained quite a bit of popularity from this role and also acted in things like The Backyardigans and Pants on Fire. They were all aware of each other but met in 2013 and became good friends ever since.
We were just being stupid together for like 4 years, just hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, with each other was the only space we were allowed to be kids.
Sometime between 2016 and 2017, Tyrel made a makeshift studio in his garage. They were all interested in music and had each been making their own individual things, so they all got together in Tyrel's garage and decided to make music together. Also, I gotta mention, there was an artist in the group named Rhea, aka Elijah Johnson, who left at some point for a reason unbeknownst to me. The first time we saw the group together was in 2018 during Swim, aka Coy's music video for the song Sin Part 2, since they were all just hanging out and decided to shoot a music video. They then decided to make a mixtape together, which prompted the idea for a group. They all started putting out music in 2019, mostly singles, and released a couple of projects in 2020. They continued putting out music over the years and put out their most recent album in 2023, which received a lot more attention because they've had much better marketing recently. Even Anthony Fantano reviewed the album and gave them an 8 out of 10. Recently, it seems like Grouptherapy is receiving way more attention than ever before, and it looks to me like they're on the verge of blowing up. Tyrel, Jada, and Coy treat their music like Grouptherapy. I mean, it's pretty obvious since their album is called I Was Mature for My Age, but I Was Still a Child, and their name, Grouptherapy, pretty much just refers to how their music is literally group therapy.
Group therapy came from that being what it was for us. Music for us is therapy, and we did it together. So when we do it together, it's group therapy. Like, we help each other work through shit.
Out of every single child actor turned musician on this list, or just in general, these guys are definitely my favorite because I think they just make some really cool music. They are an absolutely amazing group with tons of potential, with a super fun and diverse catalog, so I'm super excited to see what they put out going forward. Now, you may remember Adam Hicks from Zeke and Luther or Lemonade Mouth, and you may also remember that he got arrested a while ago. But what you probably don't remember is that he launched a rap career. Adam Hicks began his acting career when he was very young, with some of his earliest roles being in things like Titus and the Funkhausers. One of his first big roles, though, was in the movie How to Eat Fried Worms in 2006. In 2009, he played Luther in the fantastic Disney show Zeke and Luther, which ran for about 3 years. He also had a big role in the movie Lemonade Mouth in 2011. 2011. Some other notable roles he had were in shows like Jonas and Pair of Kings. He acted in tons of other things as well, so he was fairly well known in the acting world for a while. However, he was also very into music. He said he loved rap music growing up and would listen to big artists like Tupac, Biggie, or Eminem. He would constantly write songs and occasionally release songs throughout his acting career, like many child actors do. He said he battle rapped as a kid and wrote multiple songs for multiple Disney shows. Adam also rapped a verse in the song Determinate in Lemonade Mouth, which honestly is probably his best known song. But then in 2018, Adam's acting career would come crashing down when he was arrested on suspicion of armed robbery. He had been arrested twice before, once for shooting himself in the leg, which I'm not too sure how that happened, but the case was closed shortly after he was arrested. 2 months later, he was arrested again after alleged domestic violence between his girlfriend, Danny Tamburo, and himself. She claimed he grabbed her hair and arms and threw her to the ground, but she didn't cooperate with officers, so yet again, he had not been charged. However, in 2018, he was arrested for going on a spree of armed robberies. So he was on trial and was eventually sentenced to 5 years in prison in 2021. He had already served 4 years, so he only had 1 more to go and was released in March of 2022. His girlfriend had also accompanied him on his robbing sprees, but only got 3 years of probation. It was after being released that Adam Hicks decided to launch his rap career. He released his first single, Chosen One, and it dealt with a lot of his struggles in prison and his issues with mental health. The music video included a skit of his trial and was heavily focusing on the idea of him being in prison. He's admitted in interviews since being released that he struggled a lot with mental health, and he started smoking and drinking at 12 years old and doing Xanax at 15 years old. His mom passed away due to a heart attack in 2015, and his brother had recently gone to prison because he was behind the wheel during a fatal car crash. Adam's life was falling apart, and he already had terrible anxiety, which led to heavy substance abuse. He even said that he began to slowly deteriorate into insanity and was having delusional episodes.
Basically what I did is I tried to help a lot of people, and it helped my situation. It just made my situation worse, honestly, because of my addiction, because of my problems like that, grew out of control to the point where I had no control. I was losing control. I needed help. People weren't there to necessarily help me, didn't know how to help me.
This became the subject matter of most of his rap songs, and he continued releasing songs like Famous, I Don't Need 'Em, Feeling Like This, and I Need You. He saw a good amount of success on his first release, but the attention has steadily been on the decline. However, a lot of fans do appreciate how real he is in his music and how he's opening up about all of his mental health issues, allowing many people to connect to his music. Victoria Justice is an actor who's especially known for her role in the show Victorious, and I think that most people do know that she at one point made music. However, there are a handful of reasons why her music career went under the radar over the past few years, so let's check it out. Victoria began acting in 2003 when she was 10 years old, being on an episode of The Gilmore Girls. Her family moved to LA so she could focus on acting, and she appeared in shows like The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. She acted in different commercials and eventually landed a supporting role in Zoe 101 as Lola Martinez in 2005. She continued working on roles within the Nickelodeon network, appearing in shows like iCarly, Brain Surge, and True Jackson. By 2010, she had landed her own musical show on Nickelodeon called Victorious. She said that after being on Zoe 101, Dan Schneider realized that she could sing and dance along with acting, so he thought it would be cool to make a show about her. The show followed her attending a performing arts high school for singing, along with her many musically talented friends. The show heavily focused on Victoria's ability to sing, and pretty much every song from the show had her as the lead singer. They even had 3 songs from the series chart on the Billboard Top 100. The cast from Victorious was set up with some sort of development deal or something along those lines with Columbia Records. So Victoria had began working on an album while filming to release through Columbia. While filming Victorious, she also appeared in other shows and movies like The Penguins of Madagascar and The Boy Who Cried Werewolf. But the issues with her music career began when she released her debut single in 2013, right after Victorious had ended. This is when she released the song Gold, which didn't even chart. By this time, her co-star Ariana Grande had released her debut single, and it debuted at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. By August of 2013, Ariana's single had 2.2 million downloads, while Victoria's only had 33,000. And there might be a reason for this that was outside of the music, because Victoria's song was not bad. Around this time when Victoria's song was released, both Ariana and and Victoria had made posts and statements that seemed like subliminal disses towards one another. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend for a second that I care about some drama on Twitter here, so I'm not going to go too far into detail. There's plenty of things you can read online about it, but just know that this resulted in a lot of people not liking Victoria. There was also this rumor that Victoria was jealous of Ariana because Ariana was way more successful musically speaking, and it was supported by interview clips cut together like this.
Most likely to break out into song and dance is Ariana Grande. We'll give that one to Ariana too. Ariana, definitely.
Ariana.
It's probably Ariana.
Me.
I would say that's an even tie between all of us. I think we're all like really musical and we're always like singing and like making up weird little songs.
But both girls have made statements and put these rumors to rest. Regardless of all the drama, it significantly hurt Victoria's debut. She never released her debut album and had later asked to be released from her deal with Columbia Records. She said, "I asked to be released from my record label because it wasn't really creatively the right fit for me." She said that by 2015 she had over 40 songs that she made but hardly had anything out, so it's likely her label was causing her some issues. In 2014 she left Columbia, took a break from music, and focused on acting. After a long hiatus from music, she returned in 2020 with a single called Treat Myself. She has continued to release singles over the past few years, but has not seen a ton of commercial success. The only albums she has out as of now are all soundtracks to her films and shows like Victorious, and so far the most success she has seen musically has been from the Victorious soundtrack. Right now it seems like she plans to release a debut album sometime in the near future. Speaking of Victorious, we are also going to be talking about Andre, whose real name is Leon Thomas III. Now, Leon Thomas is most definitely known, but I don't think most people know enough about him. And his career is pretty amazing, so that's unfortunate. So for that reason, let's check it out. So Leon was born in 1993, and a lot of people in his family, including his parents, were very involved in music. So he was around it a lot growing up. He first started acting when he was young as well, making his Broadway debut when he was 10 in 2003. He worked in Broadway shows for a while and then did the singing voice of Tyrone on the Backyardigans from 2006 to 2008. He was featured in a few other shows too, like iCarly and Just Jordan, but got arguably his biggest role when he played Andre Harris on the show Victorious. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love this show, and Andre was probably one of my favorite characters, maybe second to Rex because Rex was so funny, but Andre was up there. And Victorious was a huge success as it ran from, like I said, 2010 to 2013. And like I described earlier, the show was about a bunch of kids at a performing arts high school, and Andre in particular was a character who was extremely talented musically. He could play the piano, sing, write songs, and do tons of other things, which is ironic because that's pretty similar to him in real life as well. While he was acting, he was writing songs for other artists such as Ariana Grande, and also writing songs for TV shows such as Victorious. This is because when working with Victorious, like I said earlier again, the whole cast got a development deal with Columbia Records, so it's likely they helped him a lot with his music and acting careers. But while he was working on music for the Nickelodeon network and some of their associates, he also got to work with the legendary artist Babyface.
I've been producing under Babyface for the past, I want to say 4 or 5 years. Even while I was on Victorious, I was just, going to set and then running to, his studio to learn just the ins and outs of production and writing.
After Victorious ended, Babyface mentored Leon and helped him grow as a producer and a songwriter. Leon had also created the production duo The Rascals with Christopher Riddick Tynes in 2010, and they had been working together for a while. In 2012, he released his first mixtape called Metro Hearts, which had a feature from Ariana Grande. In 2013, he released a song called Hello, How Are You with Wiz Khalifa, and in 2014, he released another mixtape called Vibe. But what was even more amazing is that under the Rascals production duo, he won a Grammy for working on the album Love, Marriage, and Divorce. For a while, Leon would be much more focused on being a producer, songwriter, and actor rather than focusing on his own music career. As a producer and songwriter, he was scoring placements with artists like Chris Brown, Ty Dolla $ign, Zendaya, Lil Baby, Post Malone, and many more. As an actor, he scored roles in movies like Badasses, Runaway Island, and Detroit, and TV shows like Satisfaction, Fear the Walking Dead, and Insecure. However, in 2018, Leon's music career, in my opinion, really began to take off. He released his debut EP Genesis with features from artists like Buddy, and it got pretty decent attention. He has since released more singles with artists like Ty Dolla $ign and Benny the Butcher. And I gotta say, Leon's music is really good. He also started going crazy as a songwriter and producer, working on songs with artists like Rick Ross, Drake, Kehlani, did a bunch more with Ariana Grande, worked with Jack Harlow, Giveon, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, SZA, and so many more. Leon was even nominated for a Grammy for co-writing and producing the song Gold Roses by Drake and Rick Ross. His production list is even more impressive when you factor in his work under the Rascals. More recently in 2022, after Ty Dolla $ign launched his Easy Money record label with Motown, Leon was signed as their first artist. But a lot of people don't know this about Leon, and he has a pretty cool and respectable reason for that.
I'm kind of under the radar. For me, I feel like the braggadocious nature of our society right now, the social media culture is awesome, but I feel like people do a little too much shining for me. They're doing a little too much. It's like it's a little too braggadocious. So I'd rather you find out in an interview. I'd rather you find out just looking through the credits,
Yeah. So it really just goes to show that Leon Thomas III reigns victorious in the entertainment industry. I'm just kidding. You guys know I wouldn't say something that stupid. I'm just making fun of this dorky headline. If you guys want to see me dive more in depth to one of these artists' careers, I'm sorry, that was cringy. I'm thinking back to what I just did. But yeah, if you want to see me dive more in depth to one of their careers, let me know in the comments below, especially Leon. He has a lot more to talk about, so he'd be a great pick. There are plenty of other artists who started out as child actors. Like I said, pretty much every child actor has made music at one point or another. So comment down below your favorite one. Maybe one day I'll make a part 2. Maybe I'll cover some who failed, some who were successful. No idea. Just let me know what you want to see in the comments below. Other than that, though, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. And yeah, this has been Matty Balls, and I'll see you guys next time.